Hey, good morning everyone, Trackman44 here. Well, you can tell by looking in the background here, starting another little project for my daughter down at the lake house. What I done, I come down with the skid loader the other day and kind of cut in there and kind of gouged it out a little bit, kind of getting a rough idea of how and where everything's going to set. So I just brought the transit down and I set up the transit. I'm getting ready to shoot grade to see how far off I guessed from being level. But I'm going to go ahead and square this up just a little bit. But before we do that, you got to give a little attention to the old case backhoe. Now, anytime I get involved in a project a little bit away from home, I always come prepared with an 80-gallon air tank with about 130, 140 pounds air pressure in it, because you never know when you're going to have a flat tire or something like that. But it's also good whenever you get ready to start using a pneumatic grease gun in order to grease your equipment. Now, what I'll be doing, I'll be hooking that air tank up to this pneumatic valve right here on this 30-gallon barrel of grease. And there's a hose reel on the side. It's a manual reel. You have to reel it up on there. But there's about 30 foot or more of hose on that to let you get most of the parts around a piece of machinery. This is a component that my much older brother pieced together with some scrap material he had and donated it to the cause here a couple of years back, and it really comes in handy for me, let me tell you. We'll go ahead and hook up this air tank. There's an ungodly amount of grease fittings on a backhoe. Well, you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and get the other side, everything all greased up, then I'll move on to the loader and get that all greased. There's a few that you have to move the hydraulics in order to gain access to, and then we're going to go ahead and fire it up. Been sitting here for a while, so I brought jumper along just in case. Oh yeah, I got a point to make. I had a viewer point out the other day that he thought this was a Model CK instead of a Model B, but it really is a Model B. This is a 73 580B. CK stands for Case's designation of the backhoe as a construction king. So pretty much all of the Case backhoes of this era are CK models, but they actually have different designations like 580B, 580C, etc. To clarify that, right here on top of the engine compartment, you can see this, the 580B, and then Construction King, which is what the CK actually stands for. Hey, you know you always got to keep your machines greased, but one thing that you have to remember, on these old machines like mine that actually set outside, even though I keep it tarped and covered, there's a lot of the exposed joints and greasable fittings that still remain exposed to the elements. You want to make sure after any extended period to at least pump a little bit of grease in, because believe it or not, there will be moisture that actually infiltrates down and around the fittings, and you'll actually expel some moisture out of some of those, especially in the steering knuckles and things like that. While I'm getting ready to start this, I thought I'd share with you guys, when my cousin bought this tractor brand new in 1973, he bought the extended security package, which gave you a complete steel dice cover, and you can lock this cover in place so people can't damage your gauges or whatever, or jimmy the ignition and start it. It's also got the same lockable cover on the fuel cap, on the radiator cap, on the hydraulic fuel container, and also on the engine fuel container. They're all lockable caps that go on there. And so it has a set of master locks that has one key that fits all of them. I've also got new old stock, never installed side panels that actually go on them. They're kind of aggravating because you bolt them on, then you have to unbolt them every time you need to check oil, put oil in or do anything like that. So my cousin never did install those, so I still have those new old stock side covers. Now I got to tell you, that was a pleasant surprise. I didn't think that battery had enough oomph in it to make it go. So that's okay. I'm really happy about that. Hey, remember guys, I make no claim to being an operator. Never have been, never done it professionally, never will. But I'm just kind of slow and steady and try to get it done without doing too much damage. That's my theory. And if I do too much damage, just let my son or my much older brother come in and take care of it for me. Now if you notice I don't have anybody to hold my grade stake, so my grade stake is just a couple of degrees off perfectly plumb. Okay, if it's forward and backwards, that's going to affect just a little bit the actual depth that you're looking at. So I've got to figure that I'm within a tenth of an inch. But I'm showing between this corner here and the other corner over there, I'm showing 9/10 of an inch difference in grade. Well guys, the next time I come down, I'm going to go ahead and set up and start set my batter boards back up and lay out the foundation or lay out the footing, and go ahead and start the process of digging the footing and beginning the concrete forms for the footing. So right now you can see I got the 580 case is covered back up. It's secure, it's out of the weather. I'm going to go ahead and cover this old boy up here, And I think that's it for today. And you know what? This Trackman 44, and I'm out here, guys.